The PJ Fleck Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union.
Our how is everything. How you do something matters. Culture, how, next on the talent. That better be first.
The PJ Fleck Show starts now.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show, joined once again by the head coach of Gopher football, PJ Fleck, alongside Gophers Hall of Famer Ron Johnson, KFAN's Justin Gaard. I'm Pierre Noujaim. The bye week is now a thing of the past, and the last time we saw the Gophers in action, they fell just a little bit short against the Cal Golden Bears. PJ, you've had a little time now to dissect this tape. When you look back at the game against Cal, what wasn't working properly that allowed you guys to come home with a victory?
We got to give Cal a lot of credit. Quarterback played at a very, very high level. I thought our quarterback played very well as well. We just made too many mistakes at the end of the day to win a game on the road against an ACC opponent multiple time zones away. We made way too many self-inflicted mistakes, and at really costly times. But this quarterback was absolutely on fire. And as a true freshman, to do what he was able to do, you got to give him a lot of credit.
And when you think about this game, one play never determines a game, but one play always gets talked about. And of course, Corey Parrish had a fumble. What does that conversation look like with him after the game and then moving forward?
Well, he's one of your players, right? So anytime a player does something, whether it's in a really good thing or something that costs us, one play never loses you a game. I tell them that all the time. But one play can win you a game, and it's all about your response. So we had a very honest locker room conversation as a team because you win and lose as a team. And then two, you just can't do the non-negotiables. Everybody in this game wanted to make a play. They wanted to do something. We're up 14-10, then we're down 17-14. He's disappointed, but this is the type of playmaker he is. He makes all these plays. In his entire life, he's made all these plays. And in high school, you can pick this ball up, and now he can go 90 yards and score. In college, it can cost you. And he just touched the stove. He didn't mean to. He didn't mean to cost a big play, but you've got to be able to coach him so he can respond the right way. One, you have to know it's not right. And then two, you've got to be able to build him back up. And I thought he had a great week of practice responding to that. And it's just part of when you have some young players back there and you got some big-time playmakers, you can't just say, I'm going to like all the great plays they make. Because nobody's perfect. You got to live in the realistic world that he's a really, really good football player. But he's also going to make some mistakes. And we have to know that that's going to happen, and just got to limit those.
You have another young player leading your team in Drake Lindsay, his first road start. You talked earlier this week about transitioning from maybe leading his little group or the offense to the entire team. What's that process like? What have you seen there?
Well, I think that there's been a big transition. I think Drake's a special football player. I think he's a special leader. I think he's a special person, but we always forget he is a freshman. Everybody talks about when you're a quarterback, you could be a 3-year starter, a 4-year starter, or you're a 5-year starter. Look at this. Look at all this, experience. He has experience in high school. He doesn't have a lot of experience. I mean, this is his third game. And one game he only played, 20 reps? So this was his first Power 5 on-the-road trip. I thought he performed at a really high level. He's only going to keep getting better. But every time he goes through something, I said this at the beginning of the year, it's his first time going through it. This is where you have to gain the experience. There's a lot of teams who aren't willing to invest in a young quarterback right now because it's hard. It's too hard. It moves too fast. But he's the future of our football program. The investments we're making in him now will not only pay off this year, they're going to pay off years to come. And we're willing to go through that as a team. But I thought he played really, really well, making sound decisions and really leading that entire offense. But now it's got to spread to that entire team. And having conversations, which we do with a lot of players, we have team meetings and we have our meeting at the end of the locker room, and then I call in guys specifically. I do that every single week. We have individual meetings just to talk about certain things. I do that every single day. We'll call in 4 or 5 guys just to have an individual meeting. That's part of how we run the program.
Well, that's kind of where I wanted to go next. You mentioned on the radio show that you talked with Drake, and like you say, we talked about Mo Mondays on this show forever with Muhammad Ibrahim, but what were you hoping to get across, or what was that conversation about?
It was more of like watching body language on TV copies. It was situational football. It was going back and through, even not just, hey, you did something wrong here. Just tell me the actual situation, what are the non-negotiables? Right? And then from here, what can we do to continue to get better in this situation? What are you going to think about next time in this situation? What can you think about next time in this route concept? And he's so receptive to it all. I mean, he's one of the most coachable guys I've ever coached, and he's a redshirt freshman. He's a very good football player. It's not going to, and we were joking about this before we got going, right? But I've said this all the time. It's not about how well Drake Lindsey plays. It's the supporting cast. And our supporting cast has to just be more consistent. If we can be more consistent, our offense can be really, really good.
Speaking of that supporting cast, you were without a key player, obviously, in Darius Taylor. He did not play in the game against Cal. What is the latest on his status? And furthermore, how did you feel about the trio of running backs that really had themselves a pretty decent game out in Cal as well in terms of supplementing his loss?
Yeah, well, we lost Darius, which anytime you lose your best player, I don't know how that doesn't affect you a little bit. There's a comfort in Darius for our quarterback. There's a comfort for our coaches, our play callers. And then I thought A.J. Turner had a really good start to the game. Then he got hurt, so now you're down your top 2 running backs. But I thought Cam and I thought Feme really kind of picked up the load from there. I think we were averaging 4+ yards a carry at some point throughout the game, and really, really like where those guys have progressed. I think Coach Everett's done a nice job of developing those guys. But one thing we needed to be this year, we knew was going to have to be deep in that running back room. Hopefully get Darius back very, very quickly. And, the injury report comes out two hours before kickoff, but he's progressing at a very rapid rate. So we're excited about that.
And we talked about receivers earlier in the year, and you said it was kind of be a bunch of guys are going to have to contribute to this. I mean, well, this week was LeMekhi Brogington, 100+ yards, 8 catches.
Right.
What was it this week that you saw in him and Drake Lindsey's connection, and then what comfort does he give as an older veteran receiver to a freshman quarterback?
I think you hit it right on the head. He's a veteran receiver. He understands how to create space. I think the game plan looked at a little bit more of, okay, we're going to have to get Mekhi really involved. He's got great speed. He's got great skill set. I mean, he's got a 40-inch vertical. He can broad jump close to 12 feet. He can squat 750 pounds. Once we lost AJ, we're like, all right, we're going to have to use him not only just as a wideout, but we're going to have to use the throw to run the football a little bit more with him and some of the short stuff that we were doing with him. But I told our receivers this, and Coach Simon is related as well. Next week it could be Javon Tracy with 10 catches. Right. Next week it could be Logan Loya with 10 catches. Next week it could be Jalen Smith with 10 catches. This group has to be really, really selfless, and the more selfless we are, the better we're going to be throughout the year. Remember, we've only played in 3 games, and when you look at it, really 2 games. So there's a lot of improvement this football team's going to make, and we just got to make it in a short amount of time.
Did you say LeMekhi squats 750? Is that what
yeah,
you said?
750, right around where you're at, I think.
Wow. Yeah. He'll get there one day, I'm sure.
Maybe you one-legged squats.
Yeah, of course.
Here's a clip of Pierre.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't have that? We don't have the clip?
No,
we have boxing on his honeymoon or whatever that was.
Amazing.
The insurance doesn't cover my squad.
He is an unbelievable athlete, and he's dense, he's strong, he's twitchy, and he's played a ton of football for us.
Yeah.
In the secondary, you mentioned Coy trying to make a play at the end there. It feels like you have a really good secondary. We know that. And you've talked about guys just trying to make plays and maybe not doing what was called on that specific deal. I remember Tyler Nubin doing that quite a bit, right? You got to live with the give and take. But is that an area where you hope those guys clean it up a little bit, where you want them to be themselves, but also don't try to do too much?
Play within the system, play within the call, be you within the call, within the situation. We do that, we're going to be fine. What allowed our players to have a lot of success last year, and what allowed them to become their names that we all talk about, whether it's Kerry Brown or whether it's Coy Parrish or Aiden Gooseby, is you played so well within the system and the call that the play was there to be made. When you start saying, I'm going to go make the play, now a lot of other things get compromised within the secondary, within the front 7. Play within the system, play within the call, play within the situation, and you'll be fine.
You're coming off a bye week, first one of the season for you guys. How do you want the players to spend time during the bye week, whether it's improvement within football, whether it's getting away from football? How do you guys really spend the bye week?
When you're only a few games into it, it's really not a break. We were joking around, like, what do we need really a break from? We played, maybe some guys played 8-9 snaps against Northwestern State, and that was a few weeks ago. And then our first game was on a Thursday night with a longer break until we played the next Saturday. What do we really need a break from? But we use it to restore our bodies. We use it to get back to the Minnesota fundamentals. It's more Minnesota versus Minnesota in the bye week. We got back at like 7, 8 a.m. On Sunday morning. So we didn't do any, we brought them back in on Monday, but we didn't do anything physical on Tuesday. We usually go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we wanted those bodies to rest and restore and recover. So we're able to practice Wednesday, all Minnesota versus Minnesota, get back to full speed, Power 4 football, good on good. And then when we get to Thursday, that's when we were able to get into some Minnesota versus Minnesota plus some Rutgers. Coaches went out recruiting. They were game planning all last week. players got a lot of treatment, get their bodies restored, and then we had a great practice on Sunday, all Rutgers, and then Tuesday had a great practice on Rutgers first, second, and third down.
And looking at something fun, I mean, at 10:38, I got the receipts, 10:38 a.m.
Wow,
I tweeted out, Max Brosmer is going to get in this game because it's going to be a blowout. Everybody else tried to say something else. I rolled the boat on TV.
You said the Bengals were going to be up big, though. That was the
No, I
that
did
was the
not
big
say that.
problem.
Here's the receipts.
You said Jake Browning's going to light it up at US Bank Stadium.
Receipts.
You got the receipts on
I got
his
the receipts.
phone.
As the
Yeah.
kids say, it's on Twitter. That's 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter. By the way, receipts.
Just in case
Will you
missed
play
it.
within the system here? Play within the system and make the plays.
But when you looked at Max Brosmer and what he did, got a chance to get in the game because of that. One, could have went 4 for 4. Like, we know that. Could have went 4 for 4 in that game, but 2 for 4. Crowd loved it. What was your conversation with him like after the game, and what did you think of his start?
Well, two things. One, he's going to learn a very valuable lesson one day at some point. He's going to play 10 to 12 years. The fans always love the backup, right? But two, they love a hometown guy more than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're a backup, right? And the one thing I'll say about him, though, is I'm so proud of his journey and his progress. And I said this a long time ago, and I've said this to every NFL scout's walked in. He's going to play 10 to 12 years. You need to draft him. And the longer he sticks around your organization, you'll never want him to leave. Because the value he brings from just the system approach, being an extra coach, the work ethic, the connectivity, the leadership, it's second to none. And I think that's what he's bringing to the Vikings organization, and that's why he's sticking around.
Yeah, it was certainly exciting to see Max get out on the field. Hopefully,
The fan reaction was the best. Though.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
absolutely. Hopefully, it's first of many snaps on the field on NFL Sundays for Max Brosmer. Stick around. More to come here on the PJ Fleck Show. When we come back, we'll be joined by tight end Jameson Geers. You don't want to miss that conversation coming up on the other side of the break.
You're watching the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Joining us now here on set is a veteran of this offense, tight end Jameson Geers. Jameson, great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Looking back at the game against Cal, I know things didn't go your guys' way, but when you've had an opportunity now to spend time looking at that film, and as PJ was telling us in the previous segment, learning from some of the mistakes that were made in that game, what do you feel like you learned from that game to help apply moving forward so those mistakes don't get made again?
Yeah, I think just the importance of possessions, just being on offense, you only get so many chances to go down the field and score. And it didn't really matter what time of the game it was. Our first 5 possessions ended up in 0 points, and we know as an offense and as a leader that's unacceptable. And, you know, we have to work on starting fast, just no matter the circumstances, doesn't matter where we play. And that was something that I saw off the film. Just playing better in execution. It's it's simple as that. And just as the game goes on, things happen. It's an imperfection game, and so I think that just the importance of executing every play and taking it drive by drive is something that we have to focus on. And if we can do that and just focus on each play and executing on each play, then that'll get us to where we're driving down the field and scoring some points. And having more success as an offense.
You guys have moved the ball pretty well this year, and this is probably a question for both of you, and I'm sure I've asked you this at halftime a bunch, PJ. Get the ball down, maybe in the red zone area, the low red, whatever it is, finishing the drives. Like, what's the key once you get down in that area to finish? Besides just throwing it up to you, we've probably already seen that highlight. Finishing drives once you've moved it.
Yeah. Well, I think once you get down to, the green zone and you get a little bit shorter of a field, that's when we take pride as an offense in running the ball, and that's what we have to do. Coach will give us sometimes 4 downs or 4 plays to go and get a first down and keep the drive going and not settle for field goals and put the ball in the end zone. And we want our running backs to get the ball in the end zone, and so yeah, we take a lot of pride putting extra tight ends, extra O linemen out there to get the ball moved, the most efficient way for us. And that's what, we've prided ourselves on the past 5 seasons since I've been here. Put the tight ends out there, put the O-linemen out there, and, move the ball the old-fashioned way. And that's what we take pride in, and that's what, our emphasis is on, once we get down there. And then when we get the opportunity to throw the ball to the tight ends or, the skill guys go and make plays, because, that's why we do it. They're they give the trust in us to go make those plays.
PJ, you've had a lot of great players play the position at your program over the last almost 10 years now. How have you seen Jameson grow as a player, and how has he kind of held the standard for the position the way that you expect it to be played?
Well, he's so mature, first and foremost. And we're talking about one of the best human beings you'll ever meet. Providence Catholic Chicago kid. Mom and dad are unbelievable people. I mean, he's a really good golfer, and don't let him fool you.
Is that right?
And there's a lot of good golfers on the team.
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable. They play a
right.
lot of golf. They can do that these days. They can afford to play some golf.
You're right.
I mean, he's in Carlson School of Management, which is one of the best business schools in the entire country. Whenever I talk to the NFL scouts about him, when you look at whether it's Brevin Spanford or Coe Keefe or Nick Callerup, they're all in the NFL right now and playing at a high level. It's kind of a combination of all of them. Would think about even a more athletic Nick Callerup, right? But has the toughness of Coe and Nick combined, but also can beat you in the pass game like Brevin did. So he's this morphed tight end and can kind of do it all. And he's really, really intelligent. You can do a lot of stuff with him, which makes him hard to stop.
You mentioned Providence Catholic. You're a Chicago area guy as well. Canelan High School. I mean, do you have to put that aside when you go into the Chicago Catholic League and say, what are we doing here? Like, how does that work?
I'm not sure if a lot of people at Providence know where Canelan is. I think that's the problem.
Jameson?
We're talking like
Where's Canelan?
It's up by DeKalb, somewhere up there.
Out by DeKalb.
Up by DeKalb. That's about it. Yeah, they're talking like real Chicago football, Providence Catholic. You got to go out in the suburbs, up a little bit, right on the past the cornfield, right past the soybean farm, just to be able to get to Canelan. So I'm not sure how many people in Providence actually know where it is. Back-to-back state champs in 98, 99, though. So I haven't forgot that.
Let's show the clip.
To the highlights, please.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I'd agree so. I mean, usually, we're pretty local. I mean, sometimes we're going up to the north suburbs, but we don't really go that far west.
Now listen, he's got their basketball court looks like Hoosiers.
Is that
Just so you know, old school, tiny, really thin wood. There's a wax layer over of paint. It's still got tiny little bleachers about 5 rows up. They got a stage behind the backboard, like a stage, like you'd have like a musical or something in the gym.
Got to do it all.
Old school Chicago Catholic.
As
football player school, man. That's who he is.
As a Catholic school kid myself, I'm not really going to speak too much. I don't want to get jumped on from the other side of the table. I think James and I will just stick together.
Yeah,
on that
public schools are
classic. Look, I was public.
Public schools are good. Rutgers is the opponent this week. Kind of take us through what you've seen from their defense. What's important on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really sound defense. They make you beat you straight up. So we're gonna have a lot of toughness and a lot of explosive plays this week to beat them. I think that it's a battle of cultures, and I think we do a lot of I think we play the game similarly.
Yep.
And I think it's definitely not going to be a perfect game, but it's going to be whoever's tougher and whoever can make more plays and execute. I think will be on top. But we've had a great week and a half of preparation. And just getting better each week, that's our goal. And, Rutgers is a great team, but we know what we have to do to, get back to where we want to be.
Well, Jameson, we're certainly looking forward to you guys being back in action. We certainly thank you for your time here on the PJ Fleck Show. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
When we come back here on the PJ Fleck Show, we'll dive a little deeper into this weekend's matchup between the Gophers and the Scarlet Knights. What does PJ think about going up against the Scarlet Knights? You'll get his thoughts on that coming up next.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the PJ Fleck Show. Time now to focus on this weekend's opponent. The Scarlet Knights of Rutgers will be in town at Huntington Bank Stadium on Saturday. PJ, it's a program that you are very familiar with.
Yep.
They got the best of you guys last year, but when you look at this team and Ethan Kalikmanis in particular, he threw for over 300 yards in that game against Iowa just a couple of weeks ago. What's the challenge with this year's Rutgers group?
It's the same challenge they had last year. They're really, really efficient. Ethan's playing at a really high level. The offense is probably one of the most explosive, efficient offenses in the country. Coach Araka knows his football team, and he knows what they do really well. It stretches you like option football does because they have an answer for what the defense is always giving them. And they have no problem taking whatever you're going to give them because you got to give them something. They can find it, they take it, they're patient with it, and they're really explosive. So I think Kirk's done a really good job there again, him and Nathan have known each other for a very long time. It's a great relationship, and the performance shows in what they're doing offensively. Defensively, I mean, Coach Yano's a defensive-minded coach. They're always downhill. They're aggressive, quarters and man, and do some other things that sprinkle some different things that make it tough in there. And then Coach Yano's in charge of the special team. So, it's a typical hard, tough-nosed Rutgers football team. They're always a hard out. They beat us last year. But this is about the 2020-25 version, Minnesota versus Rutgers. And it's about the teams. It's about the players on the field. And we've got to play our best football. We're going to have to play way better than we did last week, because this is a really, really good football team we're going to play.
Yeah, when you look at, you talked about the receiver, so we won't stay on that anymore, but when you look at just the Big Ten as a whole, how important is it now to make sure you guys stay in the front of the pack?
Well, I think that, your goal is to be 1-0, I think, every single week. Just because, Rutgers was 0-1 against Iowa, that doesn't mean they're out of the running. And they have a really good football team. That was a heck of a football game between Rutgers and Iowa, and it went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I think you have to always want to do everything you can to be 1-0. And you take the games that are on the schedule and the way they come at you. But we are focused on getting better and doing everything we can to be 1-0 and playing our best football game of the year.
Well, PJ, we're certainly looking forward to seeing you guys back in action. A reminder to everybody watching at home, kickoff is at 11 a.m. this Saturday at Huntington Bank Stadium. And before you head out to the game, join us on the Gopher pregame show, 9 a.m. to get you ready for kickoff between the Gophers and the Scarlet Knights. For Justin Gaard, Ron Johnson, and the head coach of Gopher football, PJ Fleck, I'm Pierre Noujaim. We thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for more of the PJ Fleck Show.
And wear maroon.